one story that I wanted to talk about that is going around at the moment. It's gone under the radar, and this is a really interesting one for all Manchester United fans and the recruitment possibly for the summer. Manchester United have met with Spanish agent Javier Garrido in England this week. Why is this important? Well, it's important simply because right now Manchester United are looking to recruit a certain type of player. And I'm looking at the players that this agent actually represents. And when you look at them, you're thinking, right, okay, this is definitely something that Manchester United are looking at for the summer. So you dig deep into it. We know if we're not in Europe, even if we're not in the Champions League or anything like that going into next season, it's going to be difficult in the transfer window for Manchester United. We're going to find it hard to bring in the players that we need. And when you look at Manchester United's current squad, what's going to be leaving, and then the type of player that we know we're probably going to be looking at and going for instance, Javier Garrido, the agent, he is the agent for Lee Kang-in, who is the versatile forward who we've seen play for PSG this season. Obviously, he's slipping in and out of an absolutely exceptional PSG side. Now, he's contracted into 2028, and the only reason I'm mentioning Kang-in is because Manchester United were linked with him again in the summer. Now, I don't think this is a deal that Manchester United are going to do and get. I think his market value is approximately 30 million euros. I don't think Manchester United will make this deal happen. But interestingly enough, this agent is representing Kang-in. And when you look at his stats, when you look at where he plays, he actually does fit the mould of a Ruben Amorim player. The work rate up front, plays left wing, plays right wing, plays holding midfield, plays centre midfield, plays anchor, plays every single forward position and a couple of defensive ones when needed. And I think we are looking at very versatile players right now. The fact that you're looking at maybe the likes of Roger Fernandez from Braga at right wing back, who can also play on the left. Patrick Dorg, who plays left, also plays right. We're now seeing the likes of Garnacho interchange and go into that right-hand sided 10 rather than the left-hand sided 10. He can play both. Versatility, I think, is a big thing for Ruben Amorim in rotation within his squad and how his system works and how he keeps his squad fresh. So, Lee Kang-in from PSG, I think, is a player that Manchester United will probably looking at. When you look at it, what's he got this season? He's got 11 goal involvements this season for PSG. Not their star player. Isn't going to be a first-team player, but that's where Manchester United are at. And there's the agents, Javier Garrido, representing this player, and some more for the likes of Abidi Azazuli from Real Betis, another player that is under the radar. These are the types of players that I feel we are going to be all over in the summer. And the most important one, and the one player that he does represent, which is what clicked on for me, and why I've done this video on this, is because he represents Xavi Guerrero at Valencia. Now, you'll remember 2 seasons back, Manchester United were chasing Guerrero, whose contract was quite substantial at the time. He was a holding midfielder. He plays at Valencia right now. He's now only 21 still, holding midfielder. And you know what we're thinking here? This is like another one of them players, a younger player. Obviously at a club and at a team that isn't competing at the top level. He's at the age bracket that Manchester United are looking for as well. And Guerrero, 21, holding midfielder, contract up in 2027. United were looking at him 2 years ago. And I feel like this is something where I can look into this and look at this story about us meeting with the agent of Guerrero and go, actually, this actually has more to it. This has a lot more to it than what we actually think, because looking at this player a while back, obviously he is still a decent player. He's still being touted as one of the best in La Liga going forward. Obviously he's not hit the headlines as other players have over there in Spain, but still, this is the type of player Manchester United need and are looking at. He's a very, very good player. Again, 21, it hits the mark with the Manchester United's recruitment side of thing. That's the profile of player Manchester United will be looking at as well. Alongside him, you've obviously got other players that we don't know about, like Fortea at Real Madrid, a 17-year-old right-back whose contract ends in a year's time. He's currently playing in the under-19s for Real Madrid. But you just look at some of them, and I've looked into some of the players that he actually represents. There's a lot more, but these are the ones that stand out, obviously, and a few more people have picked up on this on Twitter recently, and I think it's right that they have, because this is where United's recruitment and transfer window is going. You look at Fateh there, who is 17, Guerrero 21. You're looking at Abede from Betis, he is 23. Lee Kang-in is 24. All that profile of player. And when you've got agents like that, and you're talking to agents like that, and you're getting into the good books, that, to me, shouts out and rings the bell of Manchester United's recruitment team again. And this story would go under the radar simply because Manchester United are playing games. There's a lot going on behind the scenes at the moment, and no one's really paying any attention to it. But I feel like that is something that needs to be talked about, because, again, that is Manchester United forward thinking. That's United looking at players and a representation and talking to him for players that could be the types of player United bringing in the summer. The biggest contract out of all of them there left on all of them players that I've just mentioned is Lee Kang-in from PSG. But he isn't a first-team player. He's a squad rotational player for Enrique. And we know that Enrique will be looking to reinforce his squad in the summer, and he isn't afraid of getting rid of players. United could come in for him. And you know what? For us, that type of player could be gold right now. Going into next season for Ruben Amorim, he's a good player. No, he's not going to get everybody off their seats. He's not that type of player. But you think of the impact that he could have, that energy and that pressing that he could bring, and that intensity in his game, which he has got. That's a Ruben signing right there. And I think United will look closely at that in the summer. Adibe, I can never say his name, but Abde, I think you pretty much say it. It's Ezazuli from Real Betis. Again, under the radar. I don't think we'll sign him, but these are the types of players that Manchester United will be looking at right now. Javi Guerrero, 100% I think is a player that United would go for. I really do. That is a young midfielder that I think will hit the mark at Manchester United. And I think is a player that United would definitely have scouts in place for, looking at. I think it's vitally important that we are looking at players like that. And just knowing that we have been interested in him before is definitely the way to go forward for Manchester United. And when we're looking at this transfer window coming up right now, you look at the experience of Bruno Fernandes, for instance. You bring in an experienced striker. You've got De Ligt behind him. If you bring in that holding midfielder to play alongside Agate, you're looking at a different ballgame altogether. And I think we do need that depth. We do need a ball-carrying midfielder like Guerrero is. And that, I think, is where we can start to get a little bit more excited about what's to come in the future with Manchester United and how this new recruitment team is going to operate. That is just something there that I've cottoned onto and seen that I feel is really important that we actually do talk about, because it is a sign of what United are doing now. Beforehand, you never knew going into a transfer window what United were going to do. It was just hope. It was hit and hope. That's all it was for Manchester United in transfer windows. And right now, it actually does feel like we have got a plan in place, and there is a structure that is going to look at these players, that is going to give them the time of day, and we are going to find players that fit a system that we're actually playing. Because all we've talked about recently, and all we've heard said recently, is the hierarchy at Manchester United, from the top to the CEO to the coaching, and everybody interviewing anyone from Manchester United over the last 2 weeks is we're fully behind Ruben Amorim. He's told us what he wants. He's very clear in what he wants. And that, for me, is then a recruitment structure on top of that, backing Ruben Amorim and finding the right profile of player. And the fact that we've actually had meetings with this agent right now, with them type of players that he represents, I'm thinking there is something in that. And for me, another massive positive for how Manchester United are moving forward. You can say what you want. Get your comments in below, obviously. Let me know what you think about it. But I do believe that that is Manchester United moving forward and moving in the right direction. Please do make sure that you have hit the subscribe button as well, everybody, as well. Get your comments in and make sure you have given the video a